right, good afternoon. I'm JD Henning. This is Value Momentum Breakouts. And I want to share three quick slides with you. And I'll try and keep it short as I start a YouTube program now to give you updates. Maybe daily, we'll see how it goes, but at least once a week. And we'll do it with just these three charts to begin with. The first one is the SPY S&P 500 Index Fund that shows the monthly performance back from 2012. And what's highlighted here is how narrow the trading ranges are for the positive market conditions when quantitative easing is in place. And what I want to show you is with QE2, QE3, and QE4, the Fed stimulus programs greatly reduced the volatility of the S&P 500 index. When there was any form of tapering or tightening, the markets became dislocated with much more volatility. COVID correction was an exception with a pandemic, and QE4 came in March of 2020 and basically stabilized the markets again. However, that all ended in March of this year, and we're heading back into quantitative tightening for 2022. Now, the volatility has really picked up, and on this monthly chart, you can see the trading ranges. And I've approximated support and resistance levels here. That bearish stair step could continue into the months ahead, so that's something for us to watch out for. The next slide is another S&P 500 SPY index fund, but this one is at the daily level, and I wanted to highlight some of the momentum gauge topping signals and bring us up to today's market conditions and see what might happen in the week ahead. I've inlaid the TMF index fund, which is the bond bull fund, long-term bond bull fund. And you can see that it's down 59% since the November timeframe. And what's unique about it is that the topping signals on the bond fund also correspond to many of the topping signals on the momentum gauges for the S&P 500. And for example, here in April, there was a sharp decline in bonds, which led to a very large sell-off here. It also corresponded to the April 6th and April 21st signals, which lagged a little bit, and the S&P 500 sold off. You can see similarities with January, and market sold off. And also back in November, we got our first signal and the market went lower. What's interesting is that today we got a 5% sell-off on the bull bond fund, and I'm wondering if that isn't going to translate to an S&P 500 sell-off in the coming days. And if we look over here at the current situation on the S&P 500 chart, you can see there's another layer of resistance here in the negative channel that started in May, and it looks like it was retested in June, and then today we had a strong test of it, and then it pulled back, and these indicators still remain negative. It'll be interesting to see if the S&P 500 can stay above the 380 key support level here, or if it wants to go back down and retest 365 in the coming days. So those are some of the signals I'm watching, and we'll see if the market continues lower in this trend from November. And the last chart I want to show you is from the negative forensic mid-year portfolio. These are stocks with negative forensic scores, meaning they have outliers in their balance sheets and income statements that make them unusual, and doesn't necessarily mean that they're engaged in fraud or heading to bankruptcy, but the risks bring them out as an anomaly. And Beyond Meat is the stock I want to highlight today. It's setting up for a breakout above the negative channel all the way back from November. And it's moving up to a 30 a share resistance test. And if it can move above that level, the next move is to 35 and then higher. What's interesting is that all the proxy indicators are turning positive, and this stock has a 40% short float, so that if there's momentum to continue to squeeze this price higher and force shorts to cover, it has the potential to go much higher more quickly. So it's a high risk, high return proposition, and watch for a breakout above 30. Those are the three charts that I wanted to review, and I'll provide links so you can get a lot more details as I post this.